All right, welcome everyone to Paperboy Ventures episode 10, the final episode of season one. We're going out with a bang. We have a fun one today as we're here with BJ McCaslin, the co-founder and CEO of a new brand in the functional beverage space called Holy Water. BJ is a longtime CPG entrepreneur. He's the founder of numerous beverage companies, one of which was acquired by Vita Coco, and he's now on to his latest adventure, which we're going to hear all about today. BJ, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Paperboy is an amazing platform, and it's just a blessing to be on here and talk to you and the people that are going to check this out.
I love it. So big fan of everything that you're working on, and I think it's really genuinely interesting stuff. So there's a whole lot to go through with Holy Water, but let's just start from the top. Give us the quick pitch, the high level overview of what you're doing with Holy Water, and then we'll dovetail from there.
Totally. Yeah. So my 19 year career in the beverage and hospitality space, it's always been taking a look at what the market's saying, what the trend is, and not try to bastardize it. Take it from a level of authenticity and create organic awareness out of that. So specifically with Holy Water, for the past 10 years, we've raised a lot of capital to study, functional mushrooms for certain ailments, and we wanted to take the aspect of functional mushrooms and hydrate them. And we thought no better of a way to do it than balance them with nootropics for neuroplasticity. And then also go ahead and combine the key ingredient, which we use is a ketone. So that's a molecule that gives you just something inside of your body. It's biohacking, and it's really for high functioning individuals. And that's where, holy water is derived from. It's truly the best ingredients out there, all put into these products. And this is the first SKU. This is our enhanced ketone hydration. It's an RTD. And the true aspect about the project is not only that, we have amazing products with amazing ingredients, but our route to market is novel. We've taken this can, we've partnered as a direct vendor to Live Nation, so we have a 16-ounce can, and we're going to offer that as a craft non-alcoholic mocktail. So this was all planned as we thought the project through. We want you to get liquid to lips in some of the most amazing, fun settings you're going to have in your life. And then we want to bring it into retail, right, where it's a functional isotonic offering and a 12-ounce can and a 4-pack. And then our second SKU is actually a product that has, again, euphoric elements in it. And then it has the ketones as well as the nootropics and the functional mushrooms. So I love this space because I don't feel like we're directly competing with anybody. And that's something of, making beverage brands since 2008. It's aggressive. It's an aggressive space because everyone sees how alluring it is to have these products at the fingertips. And for us, I wanted to come with something that was really beneficial to creating, a community around the culture, as well as putting really dope ingredients inside to, vessels to deliver them.
Yeah, it's a nice overview. Thanks for that. So, you mentioned a couple of different, I guess, like core elements of the product. You've got ketones, you've got nootropics, you've got adaptogenic mushrooms. So, could you just talk to how you came up with this formula to start, and then I'd love to hear, what it does for people when they consume it.
So I have a biochemist partner. He's a mycologist, Dr. J. He's an amazing guy. He's a healer. When you talk to him, people are just truly drawn to him, and he's a great business partner because he's an amazing listener. And that's something my wife and I we really value about Dr. J is that I'm an aggressive individual. I love these projects. I love banging my head against the wall, and he's just somebody who's so thoughtful and rational. And when we actually started off the formulas, they were very different, right? We have a gummy, and then we also have capsules that are partners with No Fallen Heroes, a suicide prevention project for veterans. But that's kind of how we started this, right? We started this as a gummy company, but I said, look, I'm a beverage guy. These are the two things I want to do. And Jeremy, he said, okay, BJ, I like this concept. So I have a partner who grows USD organic mushrooms in Indiana. They're super potent and they're really, really cool. Do you want to go there and check them out? So we did. And then that's just what I do. I tell him, here's my interest in what the SKUs are going to accomplish. So this can, being ketone hydration, the ketones provide that natural burst in terms of allowing your metabolic structure to just create natural energy, natural positivity off of movement, right? And then the mushrooms give you, anti-inflammatories, all those things that are beneficial for you, relaxation, anti-anxiety, nootropics, and the neuroplasticity. And then what's great about what we do is it's like, well, what flavor is this? So this is our vacation blend. It's a pineapple nutmeg, and I know I owe you some product. I have it for you. We've been on allocation. You know, it's just been a wild ride, which is great. I tell my team, like, look, it's terrible to go out of stock, but at least people are buying it. So we launched the can March 1st. We launched the shot February 1st. So still very, very new. And the next SKU we have out for retail with the can. So this is a hydration aspect to it. It has truly what you would see some of those elements of a Pedialyte. My mother works at Abbott for 40 years, as well as these ketones for natural, movement, function, and then the mushrooms for those other aspects, as well as the nootropics for balance. The next one's a cognitive SKU. It's a fruit punch flavor. It has Bacopa in it. It has Zembrin in it. And it has a whole nother level of elements to the ability for cognitive core memory execution. But then it still has the ketone, the R13-butane-diol, which allows your body to naturally create beta-hydroxybutyrate. And that's what puts you in a state of ketosis. That's where your blood sugar, you're starting to burn your own fat. And that's what we want this drink to be. We want it to be obviously a lifestyle element. And we see some amazing brands out there, just like Vita Coco, right? When you drink a Vita Coco, I don't feel it right away, but inherently you just feel better. And then our third SKU is going to be a performance SKU, and we're going all NSF so we can go ahead and attack the athletic market as well as just biohacking functional field.
Yeah, there's a lot there. So I want to take a quick step back because you mentioned that this started with gummies at the beginning. So I know you're a beverage guy and you have quite a great success record when it comes to the space. So I can understand why you would want to go the beverage route. Did you know like what you were going to put in it right away, or did you have this end state, this euphoric end state that you were trying to get to, and then you built from the back, from the front? How did you go through that process of understanding what to put in the product?
Well, just leaving a wine project, I've been procuring. I went to India. I brought a spirit over from India where it was a distillate of a cashew fruit. We turned that into a cocktail mix, and then we finally ended up where we were able to exit into a canned wine, a really premium wine from Washington State. That to me, I'm 40 now. I have a newborn baby, just like you do. It was a time where, I can drink a lot, but then I feel terrible the next day, and there's truly no way for me to mask it anymore. And so I wanted to do things that gave you a true feeling with real function. And functional mushrooms do that. There's a lot of other really cool brands out there that are doing it at a really high level, and they're doing it in the forums that we want it to be at, right on premise. We're festivals and resorts, things like that. So that was the main thing, but also make it really, really holistic. And it wasn't like I want to be different, so let me add in nootropics. But I love L-theanine. My buddy Max at a company, Just Chill, when I started my Vita Coco Cafe in Los Angeles in '08, and it was just like I drank 3 of those a day, and I drive around LA. I'd be up at 4, and I went to every liquor store and every store, and I used to do demos at Erewhon when it was a Asian ethnic grocery store in West LA. And to me, it was just like, I love nootropics as well. So the mushrooms and nootropics were there. We kind of stumbled upon this ketone. We didn't really know what it was. And it wasn't because I saw what some other brands were doing, or Jeremy did either. We had a little meeting in San Diego with some of our partners. We have Matt Hughes from Coca-Cola on this. We have some veterans from Live Nation on this. We were all there on the beach, and we started just throwing out ideas. We ordered like 600 tacos. I ate like 40, so did Jeremy. And we were just like, what is this? And then we said, let's play with that a little bit. And when we put that into the product, it really created a level of, oh, you could feel this. And the taste is terrible. It is a terrible tasting ingredient. So are functional mushrooms. So we made this sweetener profile. It's not proprietary to what we do, but it's unique. And to me, that's the key to making sure that, we have 1 gram of sugar. And that was something also. We wanted to make sure, my coffee had 5. That's good, but when you drink 3, you're at 15, and that's fine. We wanted to make sure that we were at a low caloric, low glycemic, as well as something that you can have multi-occasion. So we have this stackable evening piece. We have this midday slump, early morning drink. And then when you have that cognitive come out, that's why we're doing a new flavor, new function. You have a tough meeting. Instead of pounding a Red Bull, it's like, let me get that cognitive holy water. And then it's like, I just rode the bike. This is why I drank 2 of these and rode 20 miles, hopped on the call with you here, still sweating. And that's usually what I like to do. And then I'd love to get that recovery in me before I did the cold tub and went and stretched.
Yeah. So with the product, I see the two products that you have out right now on the beverage side. You've got the 16-ounce RTD, and then you've got the, what is that, a 2 or 3 ounce shot?
2 ounce. Yep.
It's
two
a
ounce
it's a
shot.
2 ounce shot. So are those both the same formula, or is one a higher concentration in the shot, or
So
what's
yeah,
in the bottle?
they again, everything will kind of have the same elements and structure with ketones, mushrooms, nootropics, but they all differ in some. Again, the pure function of them. Like this one is main euphoria, right? So you do have aspects of it that give you a high, right? And then this one is more hydration, more energy, more just I would say ability to galvanize the things inside you to create positive movement. And then the next ones will have Biacopa in it. It will have BCAAs in it. It will have creatine in it. It will have Zambrin in it. So we do really curate the formulas to have specificity over how we want you to feel and then how I want you to feel flavor wise. Because I'm not Willy Wonka, but I love flavors. Like my dogs, I have two Chihuahuas, they love flavors too. So we sit here and we like, like that Magic Spoon cereal is very flavorful and I like it. I like flavors. So I'm
Yeah.
never going to lie.
Yeah. Well, that's great. If you're leading a beverage company, you get to experiment with all sorts of new flavors all the time. So when you talk about like the 2 ounce the shot, that's more for that euphoric feeling. What's the like in your mind, what's like the consumption occasion when you would want that? Is that like a morning thing, a night thing? Like,
Yeah, totally. To me, it's something I like always changing my head, right? And that's what Jeremy and I always talk about in the doctor. It's like, can you get a head change? I like to work throughout the day, but I also become a little bit stagnant in my mind. And what do I do if it's that fourth cup of coffee, if it's that second goyaki, if it's a Vita Coco, if it's a glass of wine at 5 p.m. This is more of an evening stackable alternative. But again, I use it in a way for more performance and more endurance. I like to have a runner's high while I'm running, so I don't think about running because I don't like to run. I'm a college athlete. I'm overweight. I don't like working out like that anymore. So this to me is something that I use for performance and activity, but truly I like to mix it to make a cocktail out of it that gives me a high and I could stack it. This is something that I would take in the morning. This is something I would take at 4 p.m. And sometimes when I am inebriated and I want to make sure I wake up with some balance, I take one of these before I go to bed because it's not again about like it's going to give you a bolt of energy. Like we always talk about mushrooms in the sense of it gives you what you need. And that's always been kind of our motto is you take a dose. And that's why, the project was called My Crew Doses, just because we want to create a culture around this community of people that take doses at certain times of the day to give you what you need.
yeah. And I do see the euphoria is mentioned as I guess like a product feature on most of your materials. Is it a certain ingredient, one ingredient, or is it the combination of the product makeup
So yeah, this
that gives
one,
you that?
this has the Delta 9 in it, right? And I don't know if you can say that on this thing, but that's why this has the Delta 9 hemp. So this does get you high, right? I'm a
Got it.
cannabis user. But this is not. This is being sold and going to be sold in GNC and Whole Foods and Erewhon, and athletic arenas and venues, over 18, right? Alternative. LA Coliseum, we sell it. The Salt Shed here in Chicago, a couple other venues this year. But yeah, so this one is a 21 plus item, and that's again coming from the liquor space. It's unregulated, so we'll see how the horizon looks for that going forward. I love the beer distribution network, but I love the ability to use KHE. I love the ability to go direct. That's why we can sell direct to these venues at Live Nation, and we're one of the few. And that's an amazing resource to have because that's how I've moved most of my early on product because I'm in right now, but I'm still not super set, right? And right now it's holiday reviews. And so I'm trying to get some of my people in place to get us some holiday reviews, but we're gearing up for September of 2025, September of 2024 for 2025 reviews. Everything's done in arrears in this business. So yeah, this one is an active, and this is kind of a tertiary component, I would say, in regards to the 16 ounce on premise, the 12 ounce focus off premise, and then the two other SKUs. This is really an e-commerce play too. That's why I made it in a 2 ounce in a concentrate.
Makes sense.
And I can be
Yeah.
honest with you, it's backwards from the industry, right? Everyone loves the THC White Claws. They love the Delta 9 cans, and there's only a couple different bottles. But I like it really for on premise. And then a lot of people I compete with here in that community that are great products, they're in the shop sense. And so that was why I wanted to be unique and different also. I wanted to be something that was sessionable. I wanted something that, we can actually mix with if you wanted to mix it. We're trying to work with some large on-premise groups right now that we can hopefully close deals with next week. And that was something that was very unique to us too. And we want to be different, right? Like the main ingredients when you're using here taste terrible. So it takes a while. It took me and Jeremy about 13 months to make this drink. And I'm a pusher. Like I'm like, let's just launch it. And he's like, no, we got to do one more thing. And so we finally did it. It came out perfect, and we couldn't be more pleased.
Yeah, it's well, congrats on getting it to where you have it now, and clearly it's got some sort of positive reception in the market if you're out of stock already. So in your head, the 16 ounce, the RTD, that's probably the core product line where most of your volume is going to come initially.
Totally. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a multi-occasion, all ages. We're expanding the line. We can go into more of a shot after this. So, and then we do also look like this is a non-alc mocktail on premise, but that's not like truly what it's intended for. It's intended as an isotonic. So think if we took this and we wanted to go more mocktail off premise, we could do that too. So all of our innovation lies within the RTD can. And then this is always just really, really fun. We just did this, formula 2.6. And it's an amazing formula. It lasts for a long time, and it's just super, super flow.
Yeah, cool. So it seems like quite the versatile product, the RTD. And you mentioned isotonic. It can be a mocktail in the on-premise scene. So it's got to be pretty challenging when you think about the distribution angles that you can take, out of the gates. So would love to hear your opinion on that. Like, do you see this as an on-premise play for trial, off-premise for volume? Like, what's the approach?
Yeah, well, that again goes back to the deliberate route to market, partnering with Live Nation in terms of becoming a direct vendor, allowing us, see, so we don't compete with their energy drink exclusivity. We don't compete with Liquid Death and their water exclusivity. We're a mocktail. There's no real mocktail exclusivity in the space. So that's where we want you to have that trial. Our margins are great there because we're delivering direct. And that again is touching on like, where does the distribution come from? Because even right now, I hit up a bunch of Budweiser distributors with like, okay, cool. Where are your authorizations? And I'm like, you were brand new. And so it's like, okay, then we go talk to LA is our focus. We have a co-founder, Jasmine. She's an amazing person. She runs our VP of strategy. She does our field marketing. So we're going an inch wide and a mile deep in LA. She had an event this weekend at Aviator Nation, 2 at Soho House last week. She just dominates organically, brought this to Insomniac for us and just hustles, like always has a case on her back. And she's a Native American Indian from the Yukon, and she's just an amazing. So it's myself, Jasmine, and Jeremy. I apologize, I should have mentioned her earlier. So that is big with our route to market. We actually have a distributor there that's going up and down the convenience store channels with a small sales group targeted, like Tupac says in LA, there's a liquor store on every corner. And I know all these liquor store owners. I'm from LA. I lived in the West Side for about 15 years. So that's our target start. Then we're going natural in terms of Bristol Farms and Darren. He's an amazing guy. And I'm talking to the Erewhons of the world and the Lazy Acres and Lassons and then the Sprouts. And then we have a broker for the health space, which is GNC, Natural Grocer, Vitamin Shop. That's an avenue we want to target immediately too. And that's why we're going NSF. So we want people to try it. We want you to learn about it in a really fun, positive setting, especially if you're going to be able to alleviate, hey, if you're drinking this, really, I was at a Grateful Dead show and we were pounding beers and I was like, I'd love a moment of mindfulness right now, aside from everything else that's floating around. And imagine if you could drink something that you knew would get you hydration and also give you a feeling to leave the venue in a positive capacity versus another tall boy. And we're never going to compete with the tall boys. So it's like we truly are just a complement to that scene. But yes, we'll go heavy in terms of driving trial in the retail. Obviously, e-commerce is huge. I don't like the concept of shipping around water, but that's something that, right now is a very big alluring aspect. You press a button, it shows up at your door. So to me, that allows us to get the consumer to also try it. And then we can go ahead and let them know where it's locally available around them to drive retail trial. And then do the same thing that everybody does. The programming, make sure that we have, the influencers around to go in and create awareness, of it regionally and go deep.
Yeah, and I think you'll be able just the name Holy Water is polarizing on its own.
It
So I'd
is for sure. Yeah.
love to
People are
hear
like,
a
man,
little
people are
more
like,
about
man,
that.
why would you use that name? It's not like Red Bull. And it's Jeremy brought it up. I've never done anything that's truly my idea other than run for state representative a few times and not win or play back quarterback, through college and never start. But like I love the concept when you said it, because I do love faith, all faiths, and I do have my people in the sky. And then when, Jasmine put some articulation to the concept of it, it was like, this is because you're putting all the best things in the world that are natural in there. And that to me just really illuminates, the space. And we had a blue can, we went to a white can. This is actually like our first label. It's a UV print. It's a really cool concept. You can get it rocked out soon, but we already evolved the can into a new version to really be more focused on what does the can do for you, right? What does this product do for you? We're not trying to be so edgy where it's just like we're going to always do gnarly concepts and market to you in a weird capacity. We really just wanted to say that, like, it's a really, really great hydration drink, and it's a great drink. And again, the holy water is everything that's great all combined in here to offer you.
Yeah, well, thank you for the explanation, because I was super curious to hear, like, how did you land on this? And I'm sure you're probably seeing it now. Some people are going to have a strong reaction to it, but that's what you need. You need to stand in a camp and draw a reaction. That's part of building something that resonates.
Yeah, well,
and
you look at the
spreads.
best brand out, Liquid Death, right? They did a great job. No one's going to replicate what they did. I mean, we're not here to try to do that. You see all these
No,
different brands come out with like Grim Reaper and Archangel and stuff like that. And you could say we fall in that same breath, but like, to me, that's not what it was. Jeremy's like, yo, it was called microdoses. Let's call it holy water. But I'm like, we got to make a drink. I want to do these two drinks. And he's like, well, I've always wanted to call something holy water, right? And then my buddy's like, throw an exclamation point in there. And then I'm like, let me check if I can trademark it. So we did, we got it, and all the IPs there, and it's really, really cool. It all came
yeah,
together.
that's probably the most important part, is getting the trademark, because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would
no
you'd have to
doubt.
rip all that work up. But it's funny you bring up Liquid Death. Obviously you're kind of following the route to market blueprint with the Live Nation partnerships, and that's in my opinion, that's the best thing that you can do to drive trial in a moment where it's impactful and people really remember the product experience. So kudos to you on getting in there.
And again,
And
like, not my idea, right? I'm sponsoring the Forecast Festival 2 years ago in Louisville, Kentucky. Zach Harlow's headlining for the first time. It was big, and I'm there at 5 a.m. making sure that the drinks, my canned wine is all over. And I remember going and talking to people, and it was like 8 a.m. and giving them canned wine. And I was like, dude, I never thought I'd be 40 pushing wine coolers. And so I was sitting there, and I go back the next day, and I look in the boneyard, and who's the big winner? It's the Liquid Death. It's the water brand. And so I'm like, look, if this is something I think is novel, and the Liquid the Lips at this occasion makes sense as a marketing partnership, where then you can drive the trial to, in a unique way, where it's not just having a blue hair old lady pour or a blue hair old man pour and 2-ounce paper cups in a store. And that was the big winner. The pallets of Liquid Death stacked up. And that to me was like, again, it's got to be non-alc. It's not something that I want to play in where it's alcohol, because that's so regulated and that's so difficult. Everything is based off your distribution partner, and you're so small in that world. Some of my friends have really great brands they built over the years, and it's still hard for them to get distributor mind share in the alcohol space. So, yeah, that is something that I saw them doing, and I was like, if I want to start another beverage, my sixth one in 19 years, then this is something I would make sure that the occasion was always ready for.
Yeah. Wow. Six in 19 years. That's a pretty insane track record. So don't know how you do it.
Yeah, well, someone called me a lunatic the other day, and I was like, no, man, I'm psychotic. Like, if you know me, like, you know me, and like, I just go hard, and I have a lot of integrity. I'm here to do what I can do, and my character is always who it is. But I go hard. I love this business. I love being in the streets. And it's just a blessing to have the opportunity to pursue this dream. I'd love to get a job one day, but until I can get a job, we're just going to keep rocking these.
Yeah, well, that's where beverage brands are built, in the streets. So I think that's a testament to your track record. But I know, so you launched the 16 ounce almost 3 months ago, like to the date.
Yeah.
Uh, what's driving the out of stocks? You must have blown through product. Like, what are
It's
you
the
seeing out there?
festivals. It's the festivals. Again, in the boneyard, you're going to see a ton of pallets of holy water. And that's the beautiful part of it, right? It's like, okay, do we need to get a distributor, or can I just hammer these venues and sell them pallets of this stuff at the price where it makes a lot of sense for them? And I have a great 40, 50 plus margin every time I deliver it. So the festivals was the first. And then now we're using this amazing platform called Rep Rally. Like, they're a few weeks old, and every day, handfuls of tens of 20s of orders coming in. And so they just focus on the C store, like, right, After I leave here, I told you I'm going to that Champs trade show, another counterculture trade show over here in Rosemont. So I'll set that up. It's tomorrow, the next day, the next day. And so C-store execution is always really difficult for brands in general, CPG, let alone beverage. But that's where you build a lot of real awareness. That's where you build trial. And that's where I built Vita Coco Cafe in LA, is up and down the street in these C-stores. But it takes a lot of effort to get multiple points of sale, to get people to understand what's going on in the store. Rep Rally is huge for me. It's a platform where I just evangelize their reps. I give them all the information. It goes right to my Shopify. And then, boom, I drop ship them. But again, it's the right price. It's the same distributor margins. But yeah, on premise for the can has really been where it's at. And we did a small run. We did like 5,000 cases, right? So we're a brand new company. We've done this bootstrap. I've got some people I've seen that can really raise money well. We're finally starting to hit our stride, but we did all this off of about $300,000. And then we funded the rest of the next production off of another $300,000. So we're in this for 600K, and we've really made some great strides in the space. And I think to do that for that little bit of capital, it takes a lot of resolve. Like, no one's getting paid since 2022, and for us, it's like we're finally seeing the fruit of the labor.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time in the journey. And with productions, people are going to read the newsletter, listen to this. Are you going to have product for mid-June? Can people buy it on your website, or when's the restock coming?
Yeah. Right now, we are producing right now. I'm an aggressive guy in the production space also. So my buddy owns Pilot Project. He bailed me out, and we're going to run some product right now. We got another facility we're running at too, and then we hope to run all 3 SKUs at the beginning of August. And yeah, we'll never be out of stock again. It might be like a 2-week thing, and that again is my accountability, just because I didn't forecast well enough for how big June was going to be for us. But yeah, if you want to order, use the discount code, the Paperboy discount code, and we'll be able to ship it out right away.
Cool, good to know. Want to wrap up with a couple of things. We'll end with your vision for what this can turn into. But have a question for you just about the state of the market right now, like where people are at. Look, we've both been in beverage for a long time. People have been selling adaptogenic drinks, and functional mushrooms has been blowing up every year at the expos, since I was in diapers, probably. So, why is now, in your opinion, the right time for something like this?
Yeah, I think the timing of it to me is you bring together a group that has a vision that galvanizes in an authentic capacity. We're going to organically take the lead from Jasmine. She runs with this really, really cool group of people. The first time I saw her and learned about her, she was swimming in Antarctica with Diplo. And then, I meet her and she's skiing in Jackson Hole, and it's like she has this whole world that truly is just her. Like, she goes and does the beverage forum, and I have these amazing beverage executives sending me screenshots of her at dinner with them, and then another guy is having a drink with her later, and it's just like she is a true unicorn. And so to have someone who's authentic in your business, who can really create a vision like that, coupled with our ability to have a route to market that's unique and deliberate, and we're not going to deviate from. And then again, having a PhD biochemist on my team who's a mycologist. Yeah, we're not the first mushroom drink out there. We won't be the last. But when you look at, I have a true doctor who's in the trenches with me every day, and we're trying to pay off his student loans. And then I have, someone like Jasmine, who's just unique, and every day is carrying cases around LA, hustling people, doing what needs to be done. Day one type stuff. Like, this is the energy I felt when I started this business when I was like 24, 25. That to me is why we're going to win. And that is why we are winning. People are seeing it's organic consumer discovery. The positioning in the stores is right. The pricing's right. And for us, we're going to promote the heck out of it and create a lot of awareness for it. And I don't feel like the competition in terms of who's on the shelf next to us is somebody that we truly have to say, stop using them to come use us solely. We're offering such different aspects of what people bring to the table. No one can replicate what we do. And if you do, like, a kudos to you. Like, you're 10 steps ahead of me, but no one's going to know how we're moving, right? I gave a little bit of a hint as to what we're doing, but we're on track to innovate already for something that is almost like the end of 26. And it just creates more shelf space for us, more ability to do billboard and banner effects, and bring more awareness to the brand of Holy Water. If it's in the realm of online THC, as it's going to be in stores for our primary and secondary focuses, and then on premise.
Yeah. So it sounds like, and we don't need to get into anything proprietary here, but it sounds like you have a lot on your mind in terms of future product development and where you can see the Holy Water brand going. How do you balance that with making sure, because just the one beverage is a lot to handle. Like how do you possibly manage your time and resources between all that stuff?
I mean, it's funny you ask that because I know a lot of people that do a lot of different things at once. And I heard a long time ago, and I think it was like Einstein or somebody that said something about multitasking and how it just doesn't work out for you. And for me, I've never worked on more than one thing at a time. Like I just can only do one thing. And so when people bring me things, even day to day, when they want to delineate from the focus and say, hey, this is cool. Like I had a guy come in who wanted to invest and he wants to invest in this way. And gave us money and he wants to be a part of this. And I said, well, we're not going to do that. Like, that's just not on the radar. It's not anywhere near the radar. Right? So I appreciate, the input for it, but I'll definitely consider it. But there's just nothing we can do right now to delineate our focus. This is how we're going to make money. This is how we're going to get stomach share. This is how we create the awareness. And if we go do more, I've seen that before. I've seen a lot of people go try to bite off a lot. And then I've expanded brands nationally very, very quickly. And then they sat on the shelf because nobody knew they were there. And it was a great product in that store, but nobody knew it was there. And then that's like, well, what did I do wrong? Well, I went too quick. I didn't do the right steps. And that's what I'm being very, very focused with here is it's being pragmatic about taking all the steps, right? Putting brokers in place, not because I don't know the buyer or because I don't want to do the sales work or fill out the paperwork, right? So we can have the relationship from day one where it's programmed, it's planogrammed, we have off-shelf execution, the trade spend set. Then we go over to Jasmine and the strategic marketing, make sure that the influencers are going in there videotaping it, make sure we're getting it to the right organizations to partner up with them, make sure we can go present at BevNet and have an opportunity to present at the Beverage Forum. So everything is very, very deliberate. And I think that's what I talk to a lot of founders a lot of the time, and their question is, how do I get more money to become more successful? And that's not what we're doing here. We're working off strong margins, and we're going step by step to make sure that everything we're doing is to a playbook. And if we can make these plays and we can get a few scores, then I think that's where we win. We don't have to do everything this year. I'm not trying to sell the company in 6 months, right? I sold my last product, the Vita Coco, in 3 months. So it's like I've done that, and then I saw how to scale it and run it up to $22 million in revenue, and then it was discontinued when I left the company. So there's a lot of experience, and that's what I was telling my father. It's like, I've got 19 years of doing this. I'm not saying I'm the best. I just know what I'm doing, right? It's not like this is not new. It's very difficult. It's still very new. I get lapped all the time by the internet people and the data stuff. But I know the street level stuff, and I know what it takes to do that stuff. And to me, it's like, just stay pragmatic, stay deliberate, and stick to the play.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to hear the approach. And the last question we can wrap on. So is this a brand that you see yourself running for the long term, or do you see this more as a another project to get under your belt and exit when the time is right in the short term?
Yeah, that just goes back to what I said. I'm not the best at this. I'm just aware and I know how to do this. So I need strategic partners to scale. You need a lot of money to scale. And I want this to be in the right hands. I think this is an iconic brand that transcends. I think it's going to live for a long, long time past my leadership here in this role. And I love that. Like one of my good friends is Bill Weiland from Presence Marketing just down the street. And that guy is so amazing, man. It's just the knowledge he has. And my other buddy is Jeff Popkin, who runs, Ghost Tequila and Jägermeister. Then Ken Sadowski, who heads up Verlinvest. And it's like, if I can get this to one of those guys and get them to run it, and then, talk to somebody who at the end of the day can partner with us and create mass execution at a really, really high level, that to me is success. Make sure my investors make their early investments back, tenfold, 20-fold, whatever we can get. And that's success, staying relevant and creating a brand that has true perpetual longevity in the marketplace.
That's a really pragmatic, realistic way to look at it. So really appreciate the perspective there. So thanks, BJ. Appreciate you joining us, and it's been really awesome conversation. So looking forward to following the journey.
Well, I appreciate you, man. When I saw you come out with this, like you put that data out online, and I'm like, who is this guy? And you have just a really cool skill set, and I appreciate what you do for the industry, just like Daniel Sharp at CPG Startup does. I'd love to see you guys collaborate because you guys can really do some really dope stuff. And thank you and Paperboy for the opportunity. It's just a really cool platform to be on, like I said, and I hope to partner with you in the future and do anything I can to support your ventures.
Yeah, Will do. Thanks for the kind words, and yeah, we'll chat soon.
All right, bro. See ya.